Hello, this is Amare Media, and here is the biography of the late President of the United Republic of Tanzania, Dr. John Joseph Pombe Magufuli. John Joseph Pombe Magufuli was born and raised in Chato, a village in Kagera region, now Geita region. He was born into the family of a Christian observant, Mzee Joseph Magufuli, and his wife Mama Susanna Magufuli. His late father, Joseph, engaged in mixed farming. And Magufuli grew up in typical village life, taking part into agricultural activities, especially raising his father's cattle. He was sent to several schools for his primary, secondary education. Chato Primary School, that was back in 1967 to 1974. Katoke Seminary, that was in 1975 to 1977. Lex Secondary School, that was in 1977 to 1978. And for senior secondary education at Mkwawa High School back in 1979 and to 1981. Magufuli enrolled for teaching training to obtain diploma in education science. In science subjects, that was chemistry, mathematics, and education at Mkwawa College of Education from 1981 to 1982. He briefly taught chemistry and mathematics at Sengerema Secondary School in 1982 to 1983. After completing his military service, during which time he crisscrossed between the Makutupora in Dodoma, Makuyuni in Arusha, and Mpwapwa in Dodoma for the national service. Magufuli earned his bachelor degree in science at the University of Dar es Salaam, majoring in chemistry and mathematics from 1985 to 1988. And then worked as an industrial chemist at Nyanza Cooperative Union in Mwanza from 1989 to 1995. In that year, he ran and succeeded in winning parliamentary elections in his own Chato constituency. This was the beginning of John Magufuli's long and successful political career of 25 years of service to the nation. He was re-elected unopposed in 2000, and in 2005, after winning a third term again unopposed as an MP for Chato. He served continuously at the ministerial level in the Ministry of Works and Deputy Minister 1995 to 2000, then as full minister 2000 to 2005. Then in the Ministry of Lands, Housing and Human Settlement Development 2005 to 2008, Ministry of Livestock Development and Fisheries 2008 to 2010, and the Ministry of Work for a second time, that was back in 2010 to 2015. These ministries and the incumbent minister during these year periods were publicly reckoned to be some of the most efficient, circumspect, and corruption-free zones in public service. Magufuli came to one of rare Udism Zalmin on record to have been elected 3 continuous times and appointed to a string of ministerial posts for a continuous period of 20 years. From 1995 to 2015, that was done. In between these years, he read, researched, and completed the requirements for a postgraduate degree, Masters in Science at the University of Dar es Salaam, Salford, UK also in 1994, and a PhD at University of Dar es Salaam in 2009. His 2009 doctoral thesis was stated the potential of anacardic acid self-assembled monolayer from cashewnut shell liquid as corrosion protection coating, and was the basis to establish that isoanacardic acid would be one of the promising surface treatment for replace the conventional acid for treatment. Now, since 2015, Dr. John Pombe Joseph Magufuli was the United Republic of Tanzania president, aware of what had been troubling his own nation for a long time and backed up by his own professional background. The country was not actually promising in levels of corruption, the shrinking employment opportunities, particularly among youth, as well as the still limited access to education among Tanzanians. He has been in office for 4 years and 5 years now, and this is still too brief a period for intensive evaluation of any government's performance. However, a cool and reflective assessment by many on the work done so far too is positive. He has been earned high praise for working tirelessly to supervise the construction of a road network in major parts of the country, which resulted in a connected, efficient system, which even earned him the bill of a bulldozer. Youth employment opportunities are being pursued in a now reverberating policy towards a middle-level industry economy by 2025. With respect to educational access, not only has universal and compulsory education been pushed up to secondary level, but also more classrooms and desks are mandatory directive for expanded primary and secondary education. In enforcing this, the argument is that actions must run consistent with policies, as was read in the minds of leaders before him, such as Castro of Cuba. History will absolve me. As the other challenges is to grapple with them, he pleads for time. Rome was not built in a day, so we are very convinced by the struggles he has done in the time when he was alive. And so lately, March 17, 2021, it was announced publicly that he is dead due to a heart attack, and this was announced by the Vice President of the United Republic of Tanzania, who is now the President of Tanzania, that John Joseph Pombe Magufuli died of a heart attack. After the death of Magufuli, we can make a clear correlation between the death of Magufuli and the death of some of the presidents in Africa, the Nkurunziza. When we talk of there is a president of Zambia, Michael Sata, and the like. They have the same experience that has appeared to Tanzania, especially when we are talking of the President John Pombe Joseph Magufuli. So the biography of Yar'Adua of Nigeria, Atta Mills of Ghana, Sata of Zambia have the same experience when we make a comparison to what happened to Dr. John Joseph Magufuli. Tanzanian President John Joseph Pombe Magufuli's death and biography be like Umar Musa Yar'Adua of Nigeria, Pierre Nkurunziza of Burundi, and John Atta Mills of Ghana, and plus 4 other presidents of Africa who died while in office. While many African leaders successfully complete their times in office, this was not contrary to Tanzania. Dr. John Pombe Magufuli died this early March 17th while in the second term. The President Magufuli, the leader of Tanzania, died in office, and that was March 2021-17, few months after the second term re-election at the age of 61. According to Vice President Samia Suluhu Hassan, she said that Dr. John Joseph Pombe Magufuli died of a heart attack disease, of which this kind of disease has been torturing this president for more than 10 years. So the announcement was done, and it was actually 2 weeks before of rumors that the president is suffering of COVID-19. But at last, the story was given out that President Magufuli was suffering of a heart attack. Also, there is, like I said before, the death of the President Magufuli makes a similar look with some of the deaths of some of the presidents in Africa. Take into account the president of Pierre Nkurunziza, that was back in 2012 and 2020. The former Burundian president Pierre Nkurunziza died at the age of 55. That was June 2020. According to Ambassador Willy Nyamitwe, Nkurunziza died of heart attack, contrary to widespread rumors. According to one message posted on Twitter on August 8th last year, a team of doctors did not have a way forward to help this president who was suffering from a heart attack. Pierre Nkurunziza, as the president of Burundi, has been a president for 15 years. Now, let's also take a correlation to President Michael Sata, who died 2014. That was back in 2014 where he died. And President Michael Sata was the president of Zambia. He was a Zambian president who died at the age of 77 after he had received treatment of sickness in one of the hospitals in the United Kingdom. That was on October 28, 2014. And Michael Sata also died with a related heart problem. After the election of 2011, rumors about the poor health began across Zambia. That was in a continuous absence from major state function, and they said that if he could continue being the president, something of the like would happen, and at the end of the year 2014, that was October 28th, Zambian President Michael Sata died at the age of 77. Then President John Atta Mills died back in 2012. That was a Ghanaian president, and also he suffered from a throat cancer and died in one of the hospitals in Accra, Ghana back in 2012. And he died when he was having 68 years of age. There are no more details about the death of this president, but he was in office. He won the election, the presidential election for 2008, and ruled the country for only 3 years. Then there is President Bingu wa Mutharika. That was back in 2012. He died. Bingu Mutharika was the president of Malawi, president who suffered a heart attack. That was back, and he died 2 days after the age of 78, and after he was just given the authority to be the president. That was in April, and 2 days later he died. He governed the country for 8 years long, and he achieved plenty success with food and agricultural policies. So after the second term, he just stayed into power for more than 8. He had 8 years in power, but being in power for 8 years, he just suffered an heart attack in April, and 2 days later he died. Then Meles Zenawi of 2012, he died in 2012, and an Ethiopian Prime Minister who died August 2012 at the age of 57 in a foreign hospital, according to the government information. And he also died in Brussels, Belgium, and he was the problem, the sufferings that he had was not given out to the public for several weeks, and it was said that he has attended a certain meeting at Addis Ababa. He led Ethiopia for a total of 21 years as president, and as president from 1991 to 1995, and prime minister back to 2012. The popularity did not actually take into account very good the death of their leader, but he was also the one who introduced the so-called multi-party democracy. Then there is Muammar Gaddafi of 2011. He died in 2011. This is due to assassination. The former Libyan president, Muammar Gaddafi, a victim of assassination. He died in his hometown at the age of 69 when he has governed Libya for 42 years. Then there is also Umaru Musa Yar'Adua, 2010. He also died. The president of he was the president, and being a president, he died at the age of 58 from pericarditis, inflammation of the membrane around the heart. He was in Saudi Arabia. He became the president for 2007. After 2007, that was in Nigeria. He took over from the former president Olusegun Obasanjo and ruled for 3 years, and he died. That after the election of April 2007, he took over from Obasanjo, and after some times he got to have the problem of health and he died. Then there is this president who was assassinated of Guinea-Bissau, that is João Bernardo Vieira of 2009, who died 2009 at the age of 69. According to officials, the renegade soldiers and shoot as a revenge attack. He was shot. That is, he was shot, and that was the end of his entire life. He turned into civilian president and lead for another 4-year period. For 2005, Vieira win another round of presidential seat in the presidential election, and he led the country for 31 years. But unfortunately, he also died. So when you take into account all these presidents, you will see there is something